This is the Roulette Master. I cannot wait to introduce to you the incredible new Ultimate Stop Loss Roulette System by Greg. He says this is unbelievable and is consistently winning money in the casino when he goes and is really excited about it. And today we're going to test his incredible new system up against 9th Street Roulette. And I know a lot of you love that one and can't wait to share that one with you again and how that's been working for me. And let's go ahead and just jump right in and get started. And let's see which one of these systems makes the most money in 15 minutes. So we're going to start with $5 on 9th Street. So let's go ahead and do that with 9th Street Roulette. Once you get to $45, you know you have the bet right. And you see we have a zero balance. Let's go ahead and spin. And we're off and running. Here we go. That's an 11 black. And that's a $15 win. So we're up $15. We're just going to rebet and spin. And here we go. This is 27 numbers covered. There's 9 streets with 3 numbers in each street. And that's a 34 red. And we lost. So with 9th Street Roulette, we're going to go ahead and double the bet when we lose. Now we're at a $90 total bet. And here we go. Let's see if we can get a win here. That's a 4 black. And we lost again. So the way 9th Street, the way I've been playing 9th Street Roulette is if you lose a second time in double, instead of getting 2 wins to reset, we're going to get 3 wins. Which, let's go ahead and see what we get here first. That's a 26 black. There's 1 win. And we're at minus 60. Let's rebet and spin again here. But if you just get 1 loss, you only need 2 wins to reset. That's a 31 black. Okay, there's 2 wins. And you can see now we're back to where we started. Let's see if we can get a 3rd win. And then if we have more than 2 losses, I'll share with you what to do next on those as well. But there's 3 wins in a row. And now we restart. So now we're up $60. And we go back to the original $45 bet. And let's spin. All right, here we go with 9th Street Roulette. That's a 3 red, and we lost again, I believe. We did, so let's go ahead and double that bet. But if you only have 1 loss, you need 2 wins to recover. So let's see if we can get those 2 wins. This is a really nice high coverage. So most of the time you'll get the wins, but sometimes you won't. And when that happens, you'll need to double that bet again. But let's see if we can get our 2nd win here. And let's see what this one is right here. Okay, that's a 24 black. That should be a win. So that's our 2 wins, and we're up $75. So let's go back to our original $45 bet, back to where we started. And you can bet on any 9 streets that you want. Doesn't matter as long as the progression is correct, and that's a 13 black. That's a good win. We're up $90. We'll just go ahead and rebet and spin again here and see how many wins we can get in a row. You'll go through times with 9th Street Roulette where you don't lose for a while. Then you'll go through times where losses come a little more frequent. We're up $105 already in a very short time. And I really love 9th Street Roulette. Let's see how it does with the recovery on this loss. We just hit a 0. So again, with 1 loss, we're going to try to get 2 wins after we double. So let's go ahead and do that. And here we go. Almost hit 0 there again, but that's a 20, I'm sorry, another 0 there, but it didn't. We got the win. So let's go ahead and get our 2nd win here. We're up $90, and if we can get the win here, we can reset back to 45 where we started with $5 on each, and that's a 9 red. Okay, that's a win, so we can reset. We're up $120 where we go back to the original 45, which is 9 streets with 3 numbers on each street, and that's 27 total numbers covered. That's a 21 red. Nice win there. We're up $135. And let's see how many wins we can get in a row before we have to recover again here. That's a 33 black. That's a nice win. So we're up $150. And let's go ahead and spin again. All right. I really love 9th Street Roulette. And let me know what you guys think down in the comments afterwards. That would be great. But that's another loss on a 3 red, so let's double. And since it's only 1 loss, we're going to need 2 wins. And let's see, that's a 17 black. That's 1 win. So we're going to need a 2nd win here. Let's just rebet and spin. And here we go with 9th Street Roulette. Ooh, a double 0. So we didn't get it. If you don't get both of them and you have a 2nd loss, now all of a sudden you need to get, you double and you try to get 3 wins. So let's go ahead and do that now, and let's see what we get here. That's a 16 red. Okay, and we're up 105. Let's go ahead and try to get a second win here. All right, here we go. And there's something else I can share with you here in a second too. If you get 2 wins, say you get 2 wins, not 3 wins. Sometimes that's good enough after 2 losses, because a lot of times if you win on the first spin before you lose, then you don't need the 3 to recover. But sometimes you do. If you don't, go ahead and reset. So we're going to go ahead and reset, even though we lost twice. We're going to reset after 2 wins instead of 3, because we got the first win before we had the loss, if that makes sense. So if you just watch your session profit, you'll be able to tell as well, when it's a good idea to reset. And we're up $180. Let's go ahead and spin again, and here we go. So obviously you would need a little bit more recovery if you lost on the first spin. Before you lost, or if you got 1 win first at the doubled amount, you wouldn't need as many. So we're up $195. Let's rebet and spin. Okay, here we go. That's a 29 black, and that's a win. So we're up 210. That's why it's always a good idea just to keep track of session profit as well. It's pretty, as long as you keep a ballpark session profit with this one, you're doing pretty well. It doesn't have to be exact, but you need to know somewhat close what your highest amount that you've been up is, and that'll help you make a good decision when it's time to recover. And that's a 5 red. We lost. Okay, so we're going to double. Since we've only had 1 loss, we're going to try to get 2 wins. All right, here we go. That's a 7 red. There's 1 win. Let me rebet and spin here. And let's see what we get. That's a 10 black. Okay, we're up 240. So let's go ahead and drop. We got our 2 wins. We're going to drop back to 45. And you can adjust the 9 streets that you're betting on. It doesn't really matter which 9 you bet on. And that's an 8 black. That's another nice win. So we're up $255 right now with 9 Street Roulette. And 7 minutes in. Can't wait to see where this one goes before we get to that incredible new system of the day. And the ultimate stop loss. And that we're up 270. Let's just rebet and spin. And let's see what we get here. All right. That's a 12 red. That's another win. We're up $285. All right, let's spin again here. That's a 35 black. That should be a loss. So since that's 1 loss, we'll just double and try to get 2 wins. So we'll go from 45 to 90 and spin. All right, here we go. That's a 22 black. Okay, there's a win. And we're up $270. We'll drop back to 45 and spin. All right. That's an 18 red. That's a good win. We're up 285. All right, so doing fantastic with 9 Street Roulette so far. Let's see if this continues, and that's a 21 red. Okay, that's another win. We're up $300. That's fantastic. Really good returns, and I'm sure a lot of you have had success with 9 Street Roulette, and I hope this progression helps you, and that is another win. We're up $315 now, and here we go. That's a 0. We don't like that, so we're going to just double the bet. Try to get our 2 wins. If we lose again, we'll need to adjust to 3, unless we get a win on the first spin here. Okay, we got 1 win there. And what I was talking about earlier is if for say we lose this one, even though we've lost twice, normally that would mean you need 3 wins. But if you lose this spin right here, and we did, since we won the first spin at the doubled amount, we don't need 3 wins. Instead of 3, we just need the 2 wins. So that's another reason to keep track of the session profit, so you can make that judgment call. But let's just get 2 wins because we won the first of the 2 spins after we doubled on the first loss, if that makes sense to you. Hopefully it does. And that's a 33 black. So we got 2 wins. We don't need a third one. So we're just going to go back to 45 where we started and spin again. But if you don't get 1 win at the doubled amount and then you lose a second time, you probably need to get 3 wins. So that's a win there. And let's see, we're up $345. And let's spin again. Okay, that's a 17 black. Okay, that's a nice win. We're up $360. And let's spin again. Here we go. That's a 28 black. Okay, we're up $375. Here we go again. That's a 32 red. Okay, we're up $390. Let's keep it rolling. Here we go. There's a loss on a 35 black, so let's go into recovery. We just have 1 loss, so we're going to double and try to get 2 wins. That dropped us back to 345, but let's get our 2 wins and get right back up there again. That's a 31 black. Okay, that's a win, so let's go for a second one now. That takes us up to 375 profit. And let's get back over 400. Here we go. That's a 34 red though, and that's a loss. So again, if you win the first one at the doubled amount, you don't need the 3 to recover on the second loss. You only need 2. So that's what happened again. So we just need 2 wins here. And here we go. That's 1 win at 17 black. Okay, we're up 345. Let's get a second win here. And then we can reset. That's a 19 red. That's a win. Okay, so we're up $405. And let's go back to where we started. All right, here we go. That's a 27 red. Okay, we're at 420. All right, let's just spin again, see how many wins we can get in a row here. And with the incredible 9th Street Roulette, and that is a 4 black. Okay, we lost, so since that's our first loss, we just tried to get 2 wins. That drops us down to 375 temporarily, but let's get those 2 wins. Okay, that's a 30 red. Okay, there's one of them. That gets us back up to 405. Let's get a second win here and keep making more profit. Here we go. That's a 24 black. All right, there's our second win. We're at $435. Let's start back again at 45. And let's see how many wins we can get in a row again before we have to recover. That's a 7 red. That should be a good one. Okay, we're at 450. Let's see if we can get to 500 as we get to the finish here before we start the new system of the day, and that's a 21 red. Okay, we're at 465. Let's get to 500 profit. All right, here we go. Last few minutes. And that's a 25 red. That's another win. We're at 480. And let's spin again. Okay, that's a 24 black. Okay, we're at 495. One more and we'll be over 500 profit. That's awesome. And here we go. That's an 8 black. Okay, there's another win and we're at $510 with incredible 9th Street Roulette. That's a 17 black there. Okay, we're up 525. And let's keep it rolling. This is fun. And here we go. That's a 16 red. Another win. We're at 540. And here we go. That's a loss on a 3 red. So it's time to double and get 2 wins again because it's our first loss. If we lose again, we'll need to try to get 3 unless, again, we get the win on the first double. Then we could do 2 again. But there's a win there. Let's see if we can get our second win so that we can recover here and restart. And we did. That's a 22 black. Fantastic. So we're up $555, and that'll do it for this one today. Let me know what you think of 9th Street Roulette. I do really well with it, and let me know if you would change anything in the progression, as always. And now it is time for the new roulette system of the day. I can't wait to see how much money this one makes in the next 15 minutes. It looks great, but let's test it out and find out for ourselves. Here we go. All right, the time is finally here for the ultimate stop-loss roulette system. I can't wait to share this one with you. And let's place the bets. We're going to start on opposite color, which is red, for $10. And the really cool thing about this system, it's only going to go 2 steps before we transition this one. So that's a 21 red. And while you're winning, you just stay. If you're winning at base level, you just bet on opposite color. And let's go ahead and spin again here. And here we go. Okay, that's a 35 black. Okay, and let's go back to red for 10. We're up $20. And then once we have 2 losses, well, first I'll share with you the progression for those 2 losses. But after that, the system is going to be changed up a little bit. And I think you're going to really like it. So we lost that one. So let's go from 10 to 30. And again, after if we lose this $30 bet, it's going to transition into something a little bit different. That's a 17 black. And we did lose. So what we do is, if we lose on the 10 and the 30, what we do is we double the first bet, and our next bet will be $20. So we're going to be on red for 20. We're actually going to go down in the progression. So, but then we're going to go back up, and I'll share with you how that works as we go through. That's an 11 black. Okay, so we're going to take this 3 times this $20 bet now, and we're going to go to 60 on red. Okay, and then let's go ahead and spin. And if we lose this one, we're going to go back down again. Okay, that's a 4 black. Okay, we lost that one. So now that was at 20. We went from 20 to 60. Now we're going to double the starting bet of 20 to 40. And we're going to go backwards from a $60 bet to a $40 bet. And let's go ahead and spin. Okay, that's a win. So if you get a win and you are not in session profit, you stay at that bet. So we'll go to black for 40 and spin. Now, if we lose this $40 bet, I'll share with you what to do next. That's a 28 black. Okay, let's switch back to red for 40. And we're still not in session profit, so let's go ahead and spin. Okay, that's a 20 black. Okay, we lost. So we're going to take this times 3. So we're going to go from 40 to 120. So we're going to have a $120 bet on red. Okay, and then let's go ahead and spin. And then if we lose this one, we'll be going backwards in the bet. And that's a 27 red. Okay, so that's a win at 120, and we're in profit. Look at that. We're up $60. So we go back to where we started at 10, and we'll be on black for 10. And I'll go through all these progressions again. It's real simple once you get the hang of it. That's a 6 black. Okay, that's a win. We'll go red for 10 now. We're up $70. And here we go. So the progression doesn't continue getting bigger with each spin. And it's real easy to keep track of once I share with you here in a second, how that works. So let's go ahead and bet 10 on black now. So it goes 10 to 30 and then back to 20. And then you would take the 20 times 3, which would be 60. And then let's see here. We'll be red for 10 now. We're up 90. But it's easier just to share it with you as we go through. So let's just deal with it on our next losses here. And that's a 10 black. Okay, we lost. So we're going to go to 30. And I'm sorry, we'll still be on red, opposite color. You can do follow the winner on this one, he says, as well, if you want to. But we're just doing opposite color right now. And that's a 00. Okay, we lost at 30. So we go back to the original bet of 10 and we double it. So we go to 20. So we went 10, 30, back to 20. Okay, and that's another 0. That's unfortunate, but it happens. And so now we'll triple the 20. We'll go to 60. Okay, and then if we lose this one, we go back to the original bet of 20 and we double it, which will be $40. But we got the win. So let's see where we're at. we're up $90. And if you get the one, usually if you get the one that's tripled, you can restart. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll be on black for 10. Even if you're close to session profit, you pretty much want to start most of the time when if you win the bet that's the larger of the two in each cycle there. And that's a win. We'll go back to red for 10. We're up $100. Always better safe than sorry. And here we go. That's a 5 red. That's another win. So we'll switch to black for 10. We're up $110. And here we go. Okay, that's a 29 black. That's a nice win. We'll go back to red for 10. Let's see if it stays choppy, and we're up $120. What I mean by that is choppy is back and forth between red and black. And that's a 36 red. Okay, that's a nice win. We'll go black for 10. We're up $130. Here we go. Okay, that's a 32 red. We lost, so we'll go 10 to 30. If we lose this, we go back to the original bet of 10, and then we double it. And that's an 8 black. But that's a win. So we reset. We're up $150. We'll be on red for 10. So we triple the bet if we lose, but then if we lose the 2 bets, then we go back to the original bet and we double it, which actually makes the bets go down, which increases the size of the progression. We're up $160, and let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. That's a 15 black. That's a win. We'll go red for 10, and we're up 170. Let's go ahead and spin again here. That's a 23 red. That's a nice win. We'll be on black for 10. We're up $180. Here we go. Okay, that's a 36 red. That's a loss, so we'll go 10 to 30. And again, you just go from the original bet and you triple it. If you lose that, you go back to the bet that you tripled from and double. So we lost, so we go back to the $10 bet that we started at, and then we double it. So we go to $20. So the bets actually, and we'll be on black, so the bets actually go down after they go back up. So here we go. That's a 30 red. Okay, we lost that one. So now we'll go from 20 to 60. We'll triple it. And then if we lose this one, we double the original bet of 20 that we just came from, and we'll go to a $40 bet. Okay, and most of the time, if you win the bigger of the 2 bets, you restart. We're up $180. So let's go red for 10 and restart. And so far, so good with the ultimate stop loss system. And that's a 28 black. Okay, we lost, so we'll be 10 to 30 on red. And again, if you're he said if you're a follow the winner guy, you can do that with this as well. He said the key is the progression. So we lost at 30, so we take the original bet of 10 and we double it to 20. And we'll be on red for 20, so it goes 10, 30, 20, 60, and then that's if you keep losing. And then it goes, then you just go back to the original bet and double again. So that's a win there. We're up $160. We go back to 10 on black. All right, here we go. That's a 16 red. Okay, that's a loss, so we'll go to a $30 bet and spin. All right, here we go. This has been doing really well so far. Let's see if this continues. That is a loss at 30, so we go back to 20. We take the original bet of 10 and we double it. So we'll have 20 on black. If we lose this, we triple it to 60. Okay, that's a 6 black. If you win the higher of the 2 bets, actually that was a $20 bet there. Just 1 second. So that one, we actually stay at 20 if that happens. So we'll be on red now though. So if you're not near session profit and you win at the smaller of the 2 bets, you just stay at that bet and you respin. That's a 32 red. Okay, that's a $20 win. We're up 160. Let's restart. Back at 10 on black. And here we go. So if you win at the smaller of the 2 bets, you just stay at that bet until you're near session profit. And that's a $10 loss. We'll go to 30 and spin. And here we go on black for 30. And that's another 0. I think we've had 3 or 4 of those so far. That's crazy, but it happens. And we'll go back to the original bet of 10, and we'll double it to 20. All right, so we'll be on black for 20. So the bets actually go down, and so it went 10, 30, back to 20. Okay, we lost, so that 20 is going to triple now to 60. Okay, and then spin. And then if we lose this, we double the original amount of 20 to 40, and then it goes back down. But again, if you win the larger of the 2 bets like we just did there, you usually can restart. Usually that puts you somewhere near session profit. So let's go to red for 10 and spin again. You want to reset every time you get the chance, and that is a loss. So we'll go from 10 to 30 and spin. Here we go. That's a 17 black. Okay, and we'll double the starting bet of 10 to 20 now. Okay, so we went 10, 30, 20. If we lose this, we go to 60. And then if we lose that, we go to 40. Okay, we lost at 20, so we go to 60 on red and spin. This is the higher of the 2 bets. We got the win, so we restart. Okay, so we're up 160. We'll be on black for 10. So the bet's constantly cycling high and low, and that's a 30 red, and that lengthens out the progression. We'll go from 10 to 30, and we'll be on black. And once we start winning some of these $30 bets, we're going to make a lot more profit. But we lost again, so we take the original bet of 10 and we double it, so we go from 30 back to 20. And if we lose this, we go up to 60 and triple. Then if we lose that, we go back and we double the 20 to 40. Okay, so we'll go to 60 on black, and this does lengthen the progression by doing this up and down motion here, and here we go. Okay, we lost again. So now we take the original bet of 20 and we double it to 40, so we go from 60 back to 40. Okay, so here we go. Here we go, and that's a 13 black. And we won at 40, so that's the smaller of the 2 bets, so we stay at 40. Okay, and then if we lose this bet, we'll have to triple it because we're at the smaller of the 2 bets. That's a 3 red, but if you get wins, you just stay at that amount until you're near session profit. So now we have 40 on black. But if you do lose this bet, since it's the smaller of the 2, you triple it. And then if you lose that, you go back to double what your bet was before, and you go in reverse again. So now we're back to 160. We can restart, and we'll be on red for 10. So if you had a loss there on those last few, you would triple the bet, but then go backwards to double the previous bet, and that's how it works. So we're up 170. Let's get some wins on the $10 and $30 bets. That's how you really accumulate the profits with this one, and that's a 6 black. That's a nice win. We'll be on red for 10. We're up 180. Let's try to get it to 200 here before we close this out. And so far, so good. That's a 0. That's at least 4 or 5 of those this session, but it happens. So we'll go to 30 and spin. All right, here we go. That's a 10 black. And we lost, so we go back to 20. We double the original bet. And if we lose this, we go to 60. If we lose that, we go back to 40. Okay, that's an 8 black. Okay, we lost at 20, so we go to 60. And then if we lose this, we go back to 40 because we doubled the original bet. That's a 23 red. That's a win at the higher amount, so we're up 180. So we go back to 10. And here we go. If you win at the smaller amount and you're not near session profit, you just stay at that bet amount. And that's a 25 red. We lost. Let's go to 30 on black. We haven't had too many wins on the $30 level. That's how the profits really start accumulating with this one. And we still haven't. And that's another loss. So we go back to 20. So we double the original bet of 10 now and go from 30 back to 20. That's a 7 red. Okay, we lost, so we'll go from 20 to 60. And then if we're to lose that one, we go back to 40. We go back to the $20 bet where this one started and double it. That's a 14 red. And man, we're having a bad losing streak here. So we went from 20 to 60. So we doubled the 20, and we go backwards from 60 to 40. Okay, let's go ahead and spin here, and let's see if we can get this color streak to end. But it continues. So now we're going to triple the $40 bet to 120. Okay, and then if we lose this one, we'll double the $40 bet and go from 120 back to 80. Okay, but we lost again. Okay, so now we'll go from 120 back to 80 and spin. So if we lose this, we'll have to triple this $80 bet. We got a win there, but it was at the smaller bet amount. So that means we keep the bet at 80. Okay, and you can see that took a lot of our profit away. Let's get it back and let's recover. We'll stay here at 80 until we have a loss, and that's a 9 red. Okay, so now we'll have 80 on black. That gets us back in profit again. Let's get closer to session profit before resetting though. And that's a 7 red, so we're going to have to triple that $80 bet to 240. There we go, and let's spin. That's a 29 black. Okay, we got the win. And now we're up $220, and the time just expired. So I hope you really enjoyed that one. Let me know if you think that you have anything that could make it better. That's the ultimate stop loss, and that's what this is all about, is trying to find the best roulette system each and every day. And if you're enjoying that, please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to send a system in, please send it to roulettemaster.c@gmail.com. That's roulettemaster.c@gmail.com. I pick a new one every single day. And I sure love testing these new systems. I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. This is the Roulette Master, and have a great day, everybody.